Hello, my name is Victor Oguyinka. You're welcome to Vanguard Live. After the election, results and analysis have been trailing all the conversations around it. The major political opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, has said that no, they are not going to take that result. But as it stands now, unfortunately, it didn't go the way of 2015, as there is no call to congratulate the winner. We'll be looking at today what actually took place in that election, Nigerians' participation in that election, because the statistics we have here are really not encouraging as to what we were expecting to get. And I have in the studio the deputy politics editor, Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Clifford Nduje. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, the election has come and gone, presidential election, the national assemblies, and then the federal election has come and gone, and the result is there for all to see.
Yes.
What is your take on how it went?
Nigerians approached that election with a lot of hope and expectation. We expected more people to vote, given the campaigns that traded and issues. But somehow, it didn't pan out the way most people expected in terms of numbers. Looking at the numbers, 2019 elections fell down in many respects. For instance, look at the number of voters. 84 million people got registered, but unfortunately only 72 point something million.
About 82 million.
Yeah. Only 72 point something million got their PVCs. Yeah. And of these 72 point something million that got their PVCs, less than 30 million came out to vote. That is way back. I have a data of past elections in this country from 1959 parliamentary elections, 1964 parliamentary elections, down to 2015. In 1959, we had 79.5% voters turnout. In 1964, it was 38.41%. 1979, 30.7%. In 1983, 38.94%. In 1993, the famous June 12 presidential election had 35% turnout. In 1999, when Nigeria returned to democracy after many years of military rule, we have 52.3%. There was a markup in 2003 when we had 69.1%. In 2007, we have 57.5%. In 2011, 53.7%. It came down a little in 2015 when we had 43.65%.
Okay.
Now all of that seem to go down because we have 35%.
35%.
Very poor.
This election, it looked like one with a lot of sensitization.
Yes.
We've talked about this on this show before, but 35% is really not understandable. I don't know what actually went wrong. So I want us to look at the numbers from region. But before we go, we want to encourage our viewers to please bring your comments in. We want you to join this conversation so that we can take your comments. Please keep it clean and keep it simple. And also, we have our man waiting at Abuja. Omezia was with INEC all through the period, from the postponements even to the last day of announcements. Omezia.
Yes.
Yeah, you are on to Vanguard Live.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. We want you to contribute to this. Okay, you were with INEC all through the period. You were there at the collation center as it all went.
Yes.
Could you just give us a brief as to what happened at the collation center?
Basically at the collation center, what takes place there usually is the collation from the states. State collation officers come there with their resident electoral commissioners to give figures that they collected right from the polling units through the wards, through the local government collation centers, and to the state collation centers before coming to Abuja to give those figures. That was what happened. They came, they gave the figures, but interestingly, one of the parties, the PDP, raised issues regarding figures as given by those state collation officers. PDP talked about missing numbers. They talked about missing voters who were missing from the voters register, because in the voters register, as was displayed sometimes last month, we have about 84,000 and 4,000 registered voters. That's 84 million, 4,000 registered voters. But in this election, what INEC put up was 82,334,107 registered voters.
Okay.
So PDP was asking, how about the difference of 1.669 million? That
yeah.
if in the registered voters you have 84 million voters,
Yeah.
how come during the elections you are now telling Nigerians that there were 82.334 million voters?
Okay.
So that there's a difference of 1.669 million missing voters that INEC, has to account for. But the INEC chairman said some of these issues will be looked at, that because some of these figures were not enough to substantially affect the declaration of a winner or making returns in the presidential election. He also said that it is by collation that the figures given as registered voters, this 82 million, were figures given by collation officers, by collation officers as registered voters by collation, not what we have in the voters register. So he didn't explain further on that, but he said it is one of the issues that the commission will be looking at in the days to come. The PDP said, for instance, in Oyo State, still on the missing figures, that you have 107,000 voters missing. In Imo, 234,000 voters also missing. In Abia, 139,000 also missing. Then in Lagos, 256,000 voters missing from the voters register. And they said they have all those figures from each state of the federation, but these are the big numbers, the big states.
Yeah.
So they have forwarded a petition to the commission, and the commission has promised to look at the petitions, because at the collation center, that was not a place for the commission to receive petitions or act on those petitions. So the job of the chief returning officer, that is the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, at that collation center was to collate the presidential results and make a return. And that was what he did. So there was no way he could have acted on the petition as submitted by the PDP.
Okay.
Because the PDP asked the INEC chairman to stop the process and not make a return.
Okay, Omezia.
Yes.
But then, talking about the registered voters and the numbers that the numbers that have been causing contradictions here, but it still boils down to the numbers of people that made it to the polling units.
Yes.
Okay, so out of the 82 million, more or less that registered, it still turns out that only 29.3 million people were accredited. That means those were the people that went out of their home that morning for that election. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
Yes,
that number, what would INEC have done to the people that didn't even come to the polling units?
Well, INEC couldn't have done anything. The mandate to sensitize voters is not squarely or entirely that of INEC. Even the INEC has a department of voter education and publicity. They do some of those enlightenments, to see how they can bring out voters to participate in the process. But unfortunately, political parties who are the major beneficiaries of this process, who are supposed to sensitize voters to also come out, most of them hardly do that. They don't do that. Political parties are supposed to engage in political education. Yeah. Some people look at the invalid votes that we had. More than 1 million invalid votes. Rejected was about 1,289,607. That is huge.
Omezia.
Yes.
Just hold on a second. Let me ask Clifford here. If you look at that number compared to what we have in 2015, it looks like it looks like a rise from the invalid voters that we have.
It is expected. It is expected. If you voted, I went to vote, and it took me like 10 minutes to go through the long list, especially in the presidential election when we had like 73 people. I kept going up and down to get who I wanted to vote for. It wasn't like that in the senatorial and the House of Reps, because the number of people on the ballot were not many. The numbers were not many. Just in my constituency, about 10 or so for the House of Reps. Senate like 15 or thereabout. In the presidential 73. You know.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Let me go back to Omezia. Omezia.
Yes.
Do you think that vote, that lot that we have, the rejected votes we are talking about now?
Yes.
That means that the votes for the presidency that was rejected is not the same number with the ones that were rejected with the Senate and the House of Rep. Is that correct?
It cannot be the same. It's
okay.
Not the same.
So do you agree with Clifford here that the numbers of presidential candidates contributed to that figure?
Surely, there was a lot of confusion. Some of the parties, they even sound alike. For instance, in the ballot, the party before the PDP is known as PCP.
Okay.
There are places where perhaps some people might have wanted to vote for PDP, and having seen PCP first, they might all have assumed that this is the party, and then they just vote, without really taking the pains to check culture. And then there's another party also before the APC. I can immediately recall the name of the party now. APA. You have APA before the APC. So, and if interestingly, you see that the APA scored 36,886. Then the PCP scored 110,196.
Okay.
Now these were parties that, with all due respect, we didn't really see them campaign. If you ask an average Nigerian who is the presidential candidate of these two parties, they might not even be able to tell you. But they scored these figures, meaning that probably in some places some people were confused. Some that would have voted for either of APC and or PDP were confused, and they voted for some of these parties that
they look alike.
Them because they look alike and somehow sound alike also. So it's one of those issues.
Okay, wait, Omezia, Clifford, let me ask you. I was actually thinking, now talking about the party acronyms and the confusion, would it have been better if we had faces of voters, on the ballot boxes? Would it have, reduced the discrepancies or the rejected votes that we have?
It would have helped. There was a time in this country when we did it, either 2011 or 2015. We had pictures of the candidates on the ballot papers. I recall that some elections were cancelled because the photograph of the candidate was not there in a number of places. So it would have helped. You could have just looked at the photograph of who you want to vote for, and then turn print and go.
Let me ask Omezia again. Omezia is with INEC. Is there any issue concerning seeing people, having the pictures of candidates on the ballot box?
For now, I do not think we can do that because the votes belong to the party and not to the individual by our laws. The vote does not. The party is the platform through which a candidate gets his or her vote. Without the party, you cannot get your vote. For us to have what you are talking about now, it also means that we will be having independent candidature. Now we don't have that, so we can't have their pictures on the ballot. No, because the votes do not belong to the candidates. The votes belong to the party. That's why even when the presidential candidate of ACP and OPS Equisili withdrew from the race, you will see that the party was still on the ballot.
That's true.
Notwithstanding the fact that Equisili had withdrawn from the race, and the party ACP has scored over 7,000 votes. You understand? If today the president-elect Muhammadu Buhari decides to quit APC, he does not go with his over 15 million votes. It is the APC that will bring up another president. Perhaps the vice president-elect will now step in as the president. So Buhari cannot go with those votes. So we can't have their pictures on the ballot, at least for now.
Yeah, I think that's logical enough. Okay. Let us look at the average turnout of voters by region and how it's impacted on the election results. In the Northwest, Omezia, we have 52.33%.
Yes.
In the Northeast, we have 49.49%. Okay. In the North Central, we have 36.5%. And now going to the South, we have Southwest with 32.66%. We have the South with 28.49%. and the Southeast with 20.42%. Just look at that figure and look at the concentration of voters, having in mind that the number of that Katsina has the highest number of PVC collection. Is that correct?
Yes,
Katsina has. Then I think somewhere Ogun also has the lowest.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you look at this figure, it means that the attitude of people of the South is not as prompt as people from the North.
Well, this is an issue that has drawn up arguments, among partisans.
Okay.
And this is one of the petitions, raised by the PDP there yesterday. That he was saying that it does not actually mean that those in the North are more politically aware than those in the South.
But the figure is saying otherwise.
You said?
The figure is saying otherwise.
Yes, the figure is saying otherwise. That is it. But the INEC chairman tried to explain that it depends on the number of people that turn out for to vote in the elections.
Yeah.
So that is it. So I would not. But the complaint by some of the opposition parties, was that in the North there were places, and they said they have documentary, evidence that they will forward to INEC, that there were places in the North where the card readers were not used and elections still held and the figures were counted. But in the South, there were where there were issues with the card readers, the elections were cancelled.
Okay.
So it is for INEC to look at the petition that has been forwarded to them and the evidences that these parties claim to have. For INEC to look at those things and see moving forward what they can do, whether to review the figures or and of course I know they cannot even review the figures because having made a return, only the judiciary now can can alter what has happened.
Omezia, just hold on a bit. Clifford, INEC told us that there were some places that the results were not all total, like in Lagos, like Rivers, and I think somewhere in Anambra.
Yes.
What is going to happen now that the result has been announced? And were those places postponed? Or I should ask Omezia because it was with INEC.
Yes.
Omezia, those places that INEC talked about, Lagos, Rivers, some part of Lagos, Rivers, and Anambra, were those results, now that we have a final result and we have a winner, what happened to those places? But was the election in those places, was it postponed or cancelled?
Okay, in most of those places the elections were cancelled.
Okay.
You understand? Now, where elections were postponed, some of them held Sunday, that is the next day after the day for the presidential election. And in those areas, what happened was that by the INEC guidelines, if the card reader does not work till 6 p.m. or if it keeps malfunctioning till 6 p.m. of the election day, then the following day the election takes place with new smart card readers. But we're talking about cancelled votes, which is about 2.7 million. That's in the areas where votes were cancelled. The voters impacted, the registered voters impacted, stands at 2.7 million.
Okay.
Now, in those areas, the argument by the INEC chairman was that the votes were cancelled because of the deliberate decision taken by some officials not to use the card readers, the smart card readers. And by clause 47 of INEC's regulations and guidelines, it says that where the smart card reader is deliberately circumvented, the electoral officer, or the collation officer should write 0 and proceed with the elections.
Okay.
So INEC is saying in most of those places where elections were cancelled, that there was a deliberate decision to circumvent the use of smart card readers, and that by its guidelines, clause 47 of its guidelines, in those areas you just put 0 score and then move on. So there is no repeat of elections in those areas. And he also explained that INEC, this particular clause, that INEC did not just come up with this clause. The INEC consulted with stakeholders, and some Nigerians also made their inputs, and it was agreed that this should be inserted, this clause 47 should be inserted in the INEC regulations and guidelines. So that was what happened.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Omezia, for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have to let you go now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, man. Okay, so let us come back to the National Assembly,
Yes.
because I think it's going to be a very interesting one. Some of the people that have been touted to return and take up the presidency mandate
Yes.
did not make the list. Okay, so what do you think we are expecting?
Well, a lot of people came back. Some of those who angled for the position in the past, they are back. Lawan is back. Ndume is back. And a couple of others, you know. So this time around, I hope that APC, which has the majority, because there is no magic any other party can do to overtake the APC, because as we speak now, APC has 64 senators, PDP about 40, YPP 1. Then 4 senatorial seats are yet to be
Decided.
declared, and then there are 3 inconclusive elections. Those areas, senatorial zones where the elections were inconclusive, the INEC will have to conduct those elections to get the lawmakers. But whatever happens, even if the opposition parties win the remaining seats, it will not be enough to upend the APC and make them not the majority party in the Senate. So definitely APC will produce the Senate president.
And of course, how about the region? Where are we looking at? Of course, we have the president from the north, we have the vice president from the southwest, you know. So it is a game of south-south, southeast to produce the next Senate president.
Really, that is what the APC did has to decide. The PDP, when PDP was in power, there was a kind of sharing formula they used. The Senate president comes from where the president comes from. Then the speaker goes to the other side, and things like that. Then other positions, majority leader, Senate leader, all those, they will now distribute across the 6 geopolitical zones. That is for the party leaders, APC leaders to decide. But definitely I expect that the Senate president will come from the north.
From the
Definitely,
north?
yes. I expect that the Senate president will come from the north. Definitely not from the northwest. It has to go to the northeast or north central.
Why do you think the north?
Because that is what that has seemed to be a standard, except they do otherwise.
Okay.
Except they do otherwise. But what has been happening since now is that the Senate president comes from where the session of the country where the president comes from.
Okay,
They can decide to,
make
the
a
party
change.
can decide to make a change and then throw it to other parts of the country.
Okay, Clifford, I don't want to stay much on that issue. I
Yes.
want us to preach something more interesting. 2023 is loading already, the election for the next 4 years, and there seem to be, some surprises. We have some new entrants into politics,
Yes.
and of course, I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed with how it turned out for them. Of course, they were new. They have to test their strength to know where they actually belong. But do you think that 2023 would be, bearing in mind that we've had some upset already in this election, do you think 2023 will be the year for the underdogs?
Well, I expect 2023 to be very, very interesting.
We thought 2019 would be very interesting.
It is interesting.
Okay.
It is.
And 2023 will be more
2023 will be
interesting.
very, very interesting because the incumbent president will not be seeking re-election.
True.
The cost will be clear for all.
Okay, to run on their strength and what the party is giving.
Yes. I expect this time around we'll have 73 candidates. It might be more in 2023 because the president is not running, and then there is this underground battle.
Yeah.
The southeast wants it, the
southwest
wants it, and the feelers I get is that the north also wants it. The argument of those who are pushing this is this: that in 20 years of democracy, the South has produced the president for 14 years. That the North should have at least 12 years.
Interesting.
It is for politicians to fight it out in 2023.
Clifford, it is politics and their battles on this one. I want to say thank you very much for coming here. I've been speaking with the Deputy Politics Editor, Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Clifford Ndj, and we'll be talking about what happened during and after the elections and the results. Thank you very much for your comments. Some of the comments we will not be able to take here, but of course, Nigerians keep saying that this election has not been free enough. Maybe, some are disappointed, but we'll keep it locked down here and we'll give you updates as we continue, to wind down with all the news on Vanguard Live. Thank you for watching.